I love my culture, but I feel like the African diasporas are losing the culture. And it's not our fault. I really do feel like our parents probably glorified what was out there. So rather than them teaching us Yoruba, it was more like exciting for them to be like, you need to learn English, you need to understand the English grammar, which of course there's an advantage to that because now we can go into English and European places.
Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Robi Masaga and today I want us to discuss about African culture, how we are slowly forgetting about our own culture. Well, I've been seeing several videos where people have been complaining, especially people who've lived outside Africa. They've been complaining about how Africans are slowly forgetting about their own culture, which is very true. And by culture, I mean things like food, dress code, the African attire, how we used to dress, how our ancestors used to dress before. Languages, how Africans are slowly forgetting about their own cultural languages and adopting other people's languages. Well, before I even delve deeper, let's watch this together. Let me know in the comment section, do you feel like Africans are slowly running away from their own culture? Let me know on the comment section. Remember to subscribe, like, and share as well. Yeah, let's watch.
I love my culture, but I feel like the African diasporas are losing the culture. And it's not our fault. I really do feel like our parents probably glorified what was out there. So rather than them teaching us Yoruba, it was more like exciting for them to be like, you need to learn English, you need to understand the English grammar, which of course there's an advantage to that because now we can go into English and European places and thrive. But I feel like I am so embedded into Nigeria and Yoruba that I would really have loved to learn the language.
Yeah.
So,
but I do think it's good that you do understand. If someone's having a conversation with you fluently, you do understand.
I'd understand because when my mum was speaking to me in Yoruba, I'd speak back in English. That's what. So now, like, you could have a whole conversation with me and speak Yoruba, and I'd get it. I'd know what you're saying. Like, you're telling me I'm nice and that. Like, I don't understand that still.
Yeah.
But in terms of saying something back, my brain just starts going blank.
In African society, hair was more than just choosing a style that flattered your face or outfit. By looking at your hair, someone could tell your tribe, your identity, whether you're rich or poor, and even your fertility. African women shaved their heads as they mourned the loss of a loved one, and warriors often braided their hair like the Masai Marans from Kenya.
Well, she spoke about language, and that is what I'm going to begin with. It's true, Africans are forgetting about their own cultural languages. It's true, we are adopting other people's language, forgetting about our own. For instance, let me give an example. Give an example of Kenya. In Kenya, English is a subject here. French is a subject. Mandarin is a subject, and these subjects are compulsory. Yeah, you go to a school and you find that in that school it's compulsory to learn either French, to learn either English. It's compulsory. Especially English is very compulsory in almost all schools. If you don't know that language, you're punished as a student. You have to learn it, you have to know it. The reason why we are easily forgetting about our own culture is because, especially languages, is because teachers, parents are encouraging their kids to speak foreign language and forget about their own. For instance, Swahili. Swahili is a language spoken in East Africa, but you find that people, especially Kenyans, you find that majority of Kenyans don't know how to speak pure Swahili. Majority of them will speak, the basic one. But if you go deeper, they don't know that Swahili. You cannot compare Kenyans with Tanzanians. Tanzanians speak better Swahili than us, and this is because in Tanzania, English is not compulsory. Yeah, they teach in their schools, they use Swahili to teach their students. And that does not mean that just because they learn using English that they are not intelligent, they are not smart enough. It's the mentality, especially here in Africa. We believe that anyone who can speak better English is very intelligent, is very smart. That person will be given priorities over someone who doesn't know to speak that foreign language. And I blame this on our teachers, on our parents, because we are slowly we are introducing our kids to foreign languages, and we forget teaching them about their own cultural languages. And that is just Swahili. You meet with someone, you ask them whether they know how to speak their mother tongue. They don't know. They don't know because they were introduced to foreign languages when they were very young, and their parents forgot to teach them about their own mother tongue. I don't know how to speak my own mother tongue. I can't blame myself. I blame it on my parents. If my parents did introduce me to that language when I was young, I believe I would know how to express myself better in that language. And it's not just my parents who have failed me. I believe most parents back here in Africa, they've failed their kids. If you were to go for a job interview and you didn't know how to express, I'm talking about Kenyans. This is what that happens back in Kenya. If you are going for an interview and you didn't know how to express yourself in English, you would be disqualified. Why? Just because you don't know a foreign language. You're trying to adopt other people's language, and those people don't even use your language. I know some people will disagree with me, but it's true. This is what happens back here in Africa. When someone doesn't know how to speak English, French, or Mandarin, what do we think about those people? We think they're not smart enough. Some of us even laugh at them. Let's talk about values. In Africa, we have our own beliefs and practices. There are things we believe if we did them, they can only bring curses. There are things we believe that it's abomination doing them. But what do people do now? They practice them, they imitate the West. There are things that people do today, and the society is quiet. You look around and wonder, is this what our ancestors taught us? Is this what our parents taught us? It's shameful, but what can we do? The society is quiet because we are trying to imitate other people's culture, and we forget about our own. We forget about our morals, principles, just because we want to imitate other people. That is their culture. They were born, they found it. It's okay for them to do whatever that they found their ancestors, their parents, their great-grandparents doing them. It's okay for them to do them. But why should we imitate them? And it's not our thing. We used to do activities such as sports, games, festivals, dances, the traditional way. But nowadays we don't do them, yeah? And people who still do them, we find those people, we think that those people are uneducated. We think they're still naive, they're not informed. That is what we think of them. Right now, what people have embraced is, tennis, golf, and that is other people's culture. That was their games from way before. Why are we imitating them? Why can't we just why can't we do what we used to do before? That brings me to dress code, how we used to dress before, yeah? And I'm still going to give Kenya as an example, yeah? Today, if you met with a Maasai if you met with a person dressed like a Maasai, that person is either dressed that way because of fashion, or he's a real Maasai from the village. Right now, people from the West, people from outside Africa are copying our fashion. They copy how we dress. Yeah, they copy our ideas. They go do it for fashion. They make millions from it. And it's okay for them to do that because we don't want to retain our own culture. We have few countries that have maintained how the traditional way of dressing. I think Nigeria is one of them, Ghanaians, even some few Ugandans. But Kenya, if today you met with a Kenyan, you wouldn't know which country they are coming from, because right now we don't have that particular dress code. We don't have. Very few people still dress like, Kikuyus, Maasais, Luyas, very few. But it's very hard to tell if that person is from Kenya or not, because we dress like the West. We put on jeans, we put on, things that the West put on. In Africa, we don't consider traditional wedding as marriage anymore. We don't consider it unless someone has gone to church, put on a white gown. That is when we call that marriage. Let's talk about foods. Africa has the most amazing foods I know. Yeah, starting with Nigeria, they have the best foods. Yeah, Generally, Africa has the best foods. You go to Uganda, they cook you the best matoke ever. Yeah, you come to Kenya, they cook for you the best skuma ever. We have the best foods in Africa. These are organic. Yeah, these are traditional foods. But what do we do nowadays? We've introduced our kids to these fast foods. The moment you give them traditional foods, they don't want. And those foods are the best. They are medicinal, but nowadays they don't want, because they want to eat those fast foods. People who eat those organic foods nowadays, people think those people are poor. They can't afford these fast foods. We forget that anyone who is eating that traditional food is more healthier than that person who is eating those fast foods. But we've literally changed our kids' taste buds. Yeah, those foods don't taste good to them anymore. They don't, because we introduce them to fast foods, to foods that have, they are genetically modified. That is what we introduced them. Let's talk about agriculture. The major activity in Africa is farming. Yeah, majority of Africans were farmers before, but nowadays, do we do farming? We don't. Anyone who does farming nowadays, we find those people either to be poor or they come from the village. Our kids, especially kids from the cities, these big cities like Nairobi, they cannot do farming, because these are things that we don't introduce our kids when they're still young. We don't. And we've, put that mentality in them that anyone who does such kind of activities is poor. Anyone who does such kind of activity is someone from the village. He or she is a villager. That is what we are feeding our kids. And people who still do those kind of traditional activities, people think they are not informed. People think they are not educated. That is what we think about our people. I know it's okay to learn other people's culture. It's okay to interact with different people. It's very much okay. It's not bad. But that does not mean you should now run away from your whatever that you believe in. Why do you think that by imitating others is being informed? Why do you think that way? And have you ever seen them imitating us? Let me know in the comment section, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. Yeah, remember to subscribe, like, and share as well. We meet on the next episode.